Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV 24/7. I'm Sonal Mehrotra Kapoor. Now there is finally an MRP on vaccines. Indian government has fixed the maximum price that private hospitals can now charge for COVID vaccines amid sharp allegations of profiteering. There are currently 3 vaccines in the country. Let's look at the price list to tell you how exactly they are looking like. The cheapest at the moment is Covishield, priced at 780 per dose. Then comes Russia Sputnik V, priced at 1,145. And the most expensive is actually Bharat Biotech's Made in India Covaxin at 1,410 rupees for a single dose. Now this includes taxes as well as a 150 rupees service charge for the hospitals. Private hospitals, remember, will not be allowed to levy more than 150 rupees as service charge. If found charging more than the MRP, there will be strict action as well. And the good news of the day, well, prices are out and new orders have been placed as well. 44 crore doses of COVID vaccines will be made available to the country from August. That's what the government has said. Amid a raging shortage that has forced the closure of vaccine centers in many states. Now, these doses will be delivered between August to December of 2021. And this means that an order has been placed of 25 crore doses of Covishield, 19 crore of Covaxin to try and achieve a universal vaccination. But is this really enough at this point? Vishnu decodes.
Will there be a shortfall of doses? By the 31st of December this year, the government's target is to fully vaccinate 100 crore people with 2 doses. This means a total of 216 crore doses. Now, the availability as per the government's report by the end of December, 187.2 crores. Therefore, there's a shortfall of about 29 crore doses. Will these all be procured by the private sector? Nobody really knows. So what's the breakup of the vaccines which are actually going to come online? Now, between January to July, 53.6 crore doses, including 30 crores, were procured between now and July end. These will be procured by the end of July. Between August to December, there will be a further 133.6 crore doses that the government expects to acquire. But take a look at this chart. There are 5 vaccines over here. Of these, the vaccines by BioE and Zydus Cadila, both of which the government is heavily banking on, are still to be cleared. They are in their trial process, after which, only if they are cleared and they are efficacious and they are safe, can the government or these manufacturers really ramp up production. But getting vaccines is one thing. Vaccination is something else. At the present pace of vaccination, India will need to increase its rate of vaccination by over 3-fold to a whopping 93 lakhs a day in order to meet its goal. That is an enormous ask.
All right, and talking about vaccines, let's look at how much is the vaccine cover in the country as of this moment. Let's look at the best performers and the worst performing states as well. Now, India at the moment, in terms of percentage population for 1 dose, has inoculating 13.6%. Kerala is at the top of the chart with the best performing state, 24.5%. Then comes Jammu and Kashmir, 22.5%. Then comes Gujarat, 22.1%. Then Delhi at 21.9%. Then Uttarakhand at 21%. But this is 1 dose, remember. What about 2 doses? India overall at the moment has a vaccine cover of 3.4% only when it comes to both the doses. Gujarat there is leading in terms of that chart with 6.7% cover for both doses. Delhi at 6.5%, Kerala 6.4%, Uttarakhand 6%, and Andhra Pradesh 4.7%. But what about the worst performing states in terms of vaccine cover? This is for 1 dose now. Tamil Nadu 10.2%, Jharkhand 9.9%, Assam 9.8%, Bihar 7.3%, Uttar Pradesh as well in that list. And in terms of both doses, well, Assam top of the chart with just 2.4%, Madhya Pradesh 2.1%, Jharkhand followed by Bihar and again Uttar Pradesh.
Long serpentine queue of foreign-bound students wait to get their COVID vaccine jab at the International Vaccine Center in Hyderabad. The students are relieved and grateful.
I was trying from 2 weeks. I couldn't get a slot properly. That's the reason. I should say thanks to this government so that it gave a free pass for students like us who are in a critical situation now. And also they reduced the waiting time from 84 days to some 4 weeks right now. That's also a major step up.
More than 10,000 such students have registered in Telangana, though the government has not yet opened vaccination for the 18 to 44 category, except in private hospitals.
More than 10,000 people have registered for vaccination, but daily we are giving and yearly more than 500 people we are giving. Today our target is around 1400 target we are going to reach.
If you have been COVID positive and have recovered from there, of course, there is the protocol of the government which says you need to wait for a longer period of time. The worry is, yes, these students are anxious. They are some of them maintaining the social distance. Not many of them are. That certainly would remain a concern. But you can see the long queues that go on from here and in fact extend almost till the gate of the institution. Multiple queues that have been formed, many of them waiting here for hours. Of course, all of them are masked and presumably would be taking all the precautions that are necessary for them to keep themselves safe. In Kerala, youngsters like this 18-year-old student who is going abroad or those who have comorbidities are being prioritized.
I'm going abroad with my husband who is working there.
Right.
So as long as we log in, we uploaded our passport and we got the schedule the next day itself within 24 hours.
We have given almost more than 1 crore doses of vaccine, and we have a population of population which need to be vaccinated is around 3.6 crores.
What's the challenge?
See, currently the state has procured vaccines and the state is vaccinating the age group from 18 to 44 with this procured vaccine. While it's hard for youngsters in Mumbai and Delhi to get the vaccine currently, in Kolkata it seems a bit easier.
जैसे कि हम लोगों ने ऐसे 3 हफ्ते पहले रजिस्ट्रेशन किया था तो हम लोगों को मिल गया अपॉइंटमेंट उसी के थ्रू
सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट যে ভ্যাকসিন দিচ্ছে 45 এর ঊর্ধ্বে সেটাই তো পাচ্ছি না আমরা রোজ পৌরসভায় আমাদের ভ্যাকসিন সেন্টারগুলোকে মাঝপথে বন্ধ করে দিতে হচ্ছে এখন জানি না কি করবেন কত ভ্যাকসিন দেবেন জানি না
At vaccination centers in Kolkata run by the Kolkata Municipal Corporation, you can see people turning up to get their vaccines. The corporation says it can vaccinate a lot more people, it has the capacity, but wants more supplies from the center. Now that the center has taken up the vaccination program on its own, once again, it still remains to be seen whether those supplies can be ramped up and whether states can expand the vaccination programs they are running.
In Maharashtra, there is no vaccination for the 18 to 44 age group, as the state got only 25 lakh vaccines in May, though 5.5 crore people are eligible. In Mumbai, again, only students going abroad will get the jab. A door-to-door campaign in Delhi to vaccinate everyone above 45 within a month. But there is a vaccine shortage for those between 18 and 44.
We do have enough vaccines for the 45 plus age group. What we are struggling with right now is the 18 to 44 age group, and we are constantly appealing to the central government to make vaccines available for that age group.
With Sneha Meri Koshi in Thiruvananthapuram, Purva Chitnis in Mumbai, Akshay Dongre in Delhi, Saurabh Gupta in Kolkata, Uma Sudhir in Hyderabad for NDTV.
So long queues for vaccination in urban centers, and in rural India, people not ready to take the jab even if it reaches their doorstep.
वो बीमारी न हो आपके कोरोना नहीं होगा ना टीका आपको न हो तो आपके परिवार में न हो किसी के हाँ हम तो भाई ना डरा की जरूरत नहीं क्या सब कोई तो आपके परिवार का आपके गाँव का मोहल्ले का सब कोई तो लगवा रहा है लगवाओ दे हाथ में चलो लगवा देंगे कोई दिक्कत नहीं आप साथे का हम गलती भूल गए वो जरूरी है ना सब फिर नहीं तो रोग कंट्रोल कैसे होगा कोरोना बताओ अब एक लोग कंट्रोल हुए चाहे ना हुए हमको मरे खबर जाओ
A tough work day for Dr. Neelam Chaudhary and her team of Asha and Anganwadi workers. assigned the task of mobilizing rural COVID vaccinations in Uttar Pradesh's Barabanki district.
टीका लग रहा है तो आप लगवाने जाइएगा टीका ठीक है अभी एक और तो बताइए टीका लगवा लीजिए अरे इधर आओ तो आप इधर बंद कर आप आ जाइए आप आ जाइए
Conversations like this one happening in my background underscore the immense challenge of vaccination in the rural areas of UP, which is India's most populous state. Now look at the numbers. While UP says that they have managed to give at least one dose of the COVID vaccine to over 2 crore people, the number of fully vaccinated individuals across the state still stands at just about 36 lakh, which is nothing for a state with a 23 crore population. This means just 1.5% of UP's population is fully vaccinated, a figure among the lowest for big states across India. A new campaign by the UP government aims for 1 crore fresh jabs in June. Data released by the UP government shows 22.45 lakh jabs were given in the first week. An average of 3.2 lakh jabs a day, on course so far to match the target.
ओल्ड एज के लोग हैं, कुछ महिलाएं हैं, तो वो नहीं हेजिटेट कर रहे हैं वैक्सीनेशन के लिए, तो हम लोग उनको समझाते हैं कि आप प्रोटेक्ट रहोगे तो आपके बच्चे भी, आपका परिवार सुरक्षित रहेगा।
100 का टारगेट है तो कितना अचीव कर पा रहे हैं?
हम लोग 80-90% तक अचीव कर लेते हैं।
पूरा 100 के 100% हमें लगता है कि ज़रूरी है, क्योंकि सबके घर में छोटे छोटे बच्चे हैं, गरीब परिवार है, और वो अगर किसी को एक बीमारी लग गई तो पूरा परिवार झेल जाता है।
So one thing that the UP government has done is that they have designated places close to villages as vaccination centers. For instance, this here is a school, and this now has been turned into a vaccination center. You can see that these people are here awaiting people who will come to get themselves vaccinated. Not too much of a crowd here. That could perhaps also be because they're only vaccinated 44 plus people here. To this side though, you have a few villagers who've actually come in, got their jabs, at least that lady, and are waiting. But the way ahead is tough. In eastern UP's Gazipur, tears for this doctor inside a police station after he and his team were assaulted in a village when they had gone on a vaccination awareness campaign.
हम लोग एक तो राष्ट्रीय कार्यक्रम कर रहे हैं, उसमें भी ये लोग हमारे व्यवहार हो रहा है, तो ये तो सरकार की दायित्व है कि हम लोग की रक्षा करें।
A long road ahead for Uttar Pradesh. With Sunil Singh, Sarfaraz Wadsi and camera person Rajesh Gupta, this is Alok Pandey, NDTV.
Moving to some news reports down south now. Buoyed by the change in centre's vaccine policy, the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has now written to his counterparts in not 1 or 2 but 12 states, seeking their support and demanding a moratorium on loans by small and medium enterprises. In a letter, he wrote the centre has reversed the country's vaccine policy due to our collective effort. We need to show our collective strength at this hour of great need once again. The letter has been addressed to chief ministers of all non-BJP states: Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, Chhattisgarh, Delhi, Jharkhand, Kerala, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Odisha, Punjab, Rajasthan, Telangana, and of course West Bengal. Meanwhile, some surprising news today came from the AIIMS director, Dr. Nadu, who said that there is no indication that children will be severely or impacted more in the third wave of COVID-19. This after several experts had actually warned us against it.
इंडियन डेटा देखें फर्स्ट वेव का, सेकेंड वेव का, या ग्लोबल डेटा देखें तो अभी तक ऐसा कोई डेटा नहीं आया विद ओल्ड द वायरस और द न्यू वेरिएंट्स जहाँ पे ये दिखाया गया है कि बच्चों में अब ज़्यादा सीरियस इन्फेक्शन हो। अगर हम सेकेंड वेव का डेटा भी देखें तो जो भी बच्चे एडमिट हुए थे हॉस्पिटल में 60 to 70% जो बच्चे एडमिट हुए थे दे वर दोज विद कोमॉर्बिडिटीज, या तो उनकी इम्यूनिटी कम थी या कुछ ऐसे बच्चे थे जो कीमोथेरेपी पे थे। जो हेल्दी बच्चे थे उनको माइल्ड इलनेस हुआ एंड दे रिकवर्ड विदाउट हॉस्पिटलाइजेशन। इसलिए अभी कोई एविडेंस ऐसा नहीं है कि अगर वेव आएगी तो सीवियर इलनेस बच्चों में करेंगी। तो आई डोंट थिंक दैट वी विल हैव एनी सीरियस इन्फेक्शन इन द फ्यूचर इन चिल्ड्रन।
Moving on now, the Hyatt Regency, one of Mumbai's best-known 5-star hotels, is now all set to shut down until further notice, they say, indicating the financial strain it faces. The properties authorities have said that they have no money to pay even salaries at this point.
For the first time since the pandemic, a major global hotel chain, Hyatt Hotels, has shut down its flagship property in India's commercial capital, the Hyatt Regency in Mumbai, with just over 400 rooms near the international airport. In a statement on Monday, Hyatt said the property is now closed until further notice and no further salaries will be paid to nearly 300 employees. Anxious employees have now gone to the State Labour Court saying they had no warning of this. The hearing on this matter will now happen on June 28th. Rupali Natekar, who has been working with Hyatt Regency for 8 years as a room attendant, has an 11-year-old daughter. Others, like her, have worked for over 15 years.
कोविड की सिचुएशन में भी हमने 12-14 आवर्स काम किए हैं हर एक ने, और हर कोई अपना घर छोड़ के यहाँ पे रह रहा है। वो लोग हमें घर नहीं भेजते थे, हमें यहाँ पे स्टे करना पड़ता था। हम अपना घर बार बच्चे वगैरह सब छोड़ के आते थे, तो फिर भी आज हमें ये सपोर्ट नहीं करे।
हमें कल जीएम ने बुलाया था, उन्होंने हमें ये बताया कि हम टेम्परेरी सस्पेंड कर रहे हैं सर्विसेज। अचानक ही ये हमें नोटिस दिया गया है और हमारे 2 महीने की सैलरी भी पेंडिंग है, अप्रैल और मई की। वो इसके लिए हम यहाँ पे कोर्ट पे आए हैं।
पेंडेमिक का सिचुएशन है, ऑक्यूपेंसी कम ज़्यादा होती रही है, तो हम लोग का ऑक्यूपेंसी कम हो गई थी। उस सिचुएशन में हमने जो हम लोग ने मैनेजमेंट ने हम लोग के सामने बातें रखी, उस सिचुएशन के हिसाब से हम लोगों ने वर्कर्स लोगों ने ये सैलरी कम करके ली है। सैलरी अब तो हम लोगों ने अब तक शायद 50% नहीं लिया रहेगा।
In its letter sent to all employees, Hyatt said, as a result of no funds forthcoming from Asian Hotels, which is the owner of Hyatt Regency Mumbai, to sustain the operations of the hotel, a decision has been taken to temporarily suspend all operations for Hyatt Regency Mumbai. Asian Hotels told the stock exchanges that the company has defaulted on its payments on a bank loan because of the pandemic and is in no position to pay employees or its GST dues.
Since the pandemic began, the hotel industry suffered massive losses. According to the Federation of Hotels and Restaurant Association, since the second wave, the industry suffered losses to the tune of nearly 1.3 lakh crore and nearly 30% of the premises was shut down completely. Tourism industry supports 7% to the total GDP and also has an employment of nearly 8%. In Mumbai, with camera person Rajendra Dayalkar, this is Purva Chitnis for NDTV.
Not like I met Nawaz Sharif. Well, that was Uddhav Thackeray's reply when asked about why exactly did he have to meet the Prime Minister one-on-one and in person. Mr. Uddhav Thackeray had actually led a delegation that also included the Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar, he says, to discuss the Maratha quota, the cyclone Taukte and relief for Maharashtra. Well, this happened in a not very long but still intriguing meeting with the Prime Minister at his residence.
Amid the volatility, this was a politically significant meeting. The Maharashtra Chief Minister in a face-to-face dialogue with the Prime Minister in New Delhi. This is the second such meeting after Uddhav Thackeray took over as Chief Minister in 2019, but the real suspense, a 10-minute one-to-one meeting with the Prime Minister that Mr. Thackeray asked for.
ये बात को भी मैंने छुपाई नहीं और छुपाने की आवश्यकता नहीं। आज राजनीतिक रूप में देखें तो हम उनके साथ नहीं हैं, लेकिन इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि हमारा रिश्ता टूट गया है। मैंने कल भी बात कही थी, मेरे साक्षात्कार में शायद लोकसत्ता ने लिया था तब, तो इसमें कोई गलत बात नहीं है कि मैं अगर मिलूं, मैं कोई नवाज शरीफ से नहीं मिलने गया था।
Uddhav Thackeray led a delegation which included his deputy Ajit Pawar to discuss the Maratha quota and cyclone Taukte relief for Maharashtra with the Prime Minister. The Supreme Court had struck down the Maratha quota last week. Uddhav Thackeray's visit is also being seen against the backdrop of a Samna write-up which said that the battle to destabilize the politics of Maharashtra would be fought in Delhi. These comments were made in the context of Maratha reservation, suggesting that the opposition BJP will use Maratha reservation as an emotive issue on the ground. Speculation is on about whether Uddhav's face-to-face meeting was to apprise the Prime Minister of this attempt. Though the Chief Minister was also seen striking a cordial note with the centre, congratulating the Prime Minister for the new vaccine policy, a contrast from their ally the Congress's position, which has been critical of the centre, calling it a flip-flop policy.
और कल प्रधानमंत्री जी ने सारी जिम्मेदारी फिर से एक बार केंद्र के ऊपर ली है, तो स्वाभाविक है हम उनको धन्यवाद देना चाहते हैं और अपेक्षा करते हैं कि बीच में जो सारी रुकावटें आ रही थी वो रुकावटें अब दूर हो जाएंगी.
For now, the Agadi seems to be putting on a united front, brushing aside any speculation of the PM-CM bonhomie resulting in new political equations. Uddhav Thackeray's meeting with Sharad Pawar moments before he flew off to meet the Prime Minister is being positioned as an important symbol of the Shiv Sena Congress NCP unity in the state. An NDTV Bureau report.